All right, what is going on, everyone? We are now live. Okay, so let's give people a few minutes to jump on in. I actually haven't done anything. I haven't made a trade anything this morning, so we'll see what happens. Decent amount of stuff moving at least for right now. Oh yeah, I did do one thing. I'll talk about that. I did sell one of my contracts of Home Depot. Just not necessarily. Not that I'm not liking the move. I'm just going to hold one of those contracts and just give it like a lottery play. I kind of made a mistake didn't make a mistake, but wish I kind of did that differently. I'll talk more about that, I guess, at the end of the week. We'll see what happens. But a lot of stuff moving right now. So we'll, of course, market just opened. So let me fix and adjust this to the 1 day kind of movers and see what's going on. Let's see. Yeah, FSR is stubborn. It is. Let's take a look at FSR, by the way. I have Neo pulled up. Beautiful move off of yesterday's lows under 40. Honestly, was great. So FSR is, it's actually fine. from what I'm looking at right here, it's bouncing off of the trend that we had. So it's looking good. I would like to see it now getting back up towards this, 17, 18. If it breaks back over 18, I think we're looking good. Then we have a good shot to 20. So we'll see. That's what we're looking like. GNUS, let's take a look. GNUS has been great because it's been pushing up a lot. It's been like a slimmer, and today it's down, but it popped a lot in after hours and pre-market hours. So extended hours it popped a lot, but we're watching that 160, right? So 160 was the kind of the area that it was just not really breaking cleanly above, and actually it did. So as long as we hold over that level, that's a good sign. So we'll see how much. It's got range, but it's got to break back above this $2 now and really kind of reclaim that. Now it did that in pre-market, but that's what we got to see next for GNUS. It's been making a nice move. So for those who have been either longer term investors, bag holders, whatever you want to call it, if people bought up here who still have shares or accumulated shares down around $1, they're looking nice. They are looking pretty nice right now, I will say. Not personally am, but it doesn't look bad. Let's see. ANCN was one that went nuts. ANCN ripped in the pre-market hours. So it popped up, had news. I think it had merger news, right? Popped up and then pulled back, and now it's running again. So it's up 200%. Insane. Not something that I'm going to touch because I'm swing trade focused, and I filmed a video also earlier talking about growing an account, which I'll post that later. But I audited myself a lot about these day trades, and it just every time I take day trades, certainly could do well on some of them, but it just when I've come down to auditing myself, I've been much more consistent with the swing trades. So that's what I'm sticking to. So we have some dips though. We can definitely see if we want to grab. So BLU is one that I've been watching for a while. They had a filing, I think an S3, or they filed for a shelf, I believe. So we're gonna have to watch that. It did dip below 3. I don't have that many. I've had some from back here, a decent average, but we'll see what happens with BLU. That's one thing that I may be looking for potential dip today. Other than that, everything else that I have watching, HEPA, HEPA is one that I'm watching for sure. This one I have my first sell at 197, but I'm letting that one ride up. So again, that one I'm looking to see if it can get to 215, fill the gap. So I want to see a 215 gap fill. Plus, there's been some insider buying here as well. So generally, when you see the insider buying down in the 150s, usually there's a reason why. And so either they're going to have news, a catalyst, something like that's coming, and that's kind of what you'll see a lot of the time. So that's what I'm doing. Neo calls, I have just shares. What I'm waiting for on Neo before I add more is I want to get a clean downtrend break. So once we make a downtrend break right here and break out to the upside, then I'll add more shares to my size. So what I'm doing for that one is I'm just pretty much for Neo is I'm looking for 50 plus into the end of the year. And so you could do calls. I was thinking about calls. I just personally, the way my style is just honestly, I feel a lot more comfortable with shares. And so I'm fine going in heavier. So I'll go heavier on the shares based on the position sizing of this account. I'll go heavier on the shares on the downtrend break. So I have a decent amount for right now, but if we break out, that's what I'm going to do. Let's see. So yeah, AMCI is the only one that's down the biggest on the day. AMCI is fine. I'm still holding it. I don't have a great average. I sold some up in here in the 14s area. So I want to see AMCI kind of come back and break this downtrend that we kind of have right here. So that's what I like to look at. something like that. So AMCI is holding up decent support here on 13-ish, 1290s, 13. So if that doesn't hold, maybe it takes a further dip or further dive. We'll have to see. MYT is one that I actually think I may be looking to cut. Not that it's bad. I'm going to give it another day or so here. The only problem with MYT that I have is that it was holding this trend line, and it was pretty much a technical play in my opinion. I mean, that's why I entered the play. I liked it technically speaking, but it's at the line. So I'm going to give it another day or so, unless it drops significantly below this trend line. But this could be a good dip buy if I'm looking at it, but I have a pretty low average. So I'm going to give it a sec and see what happens here. If it holds this support, then it makes a kind of a little bounce off the support level, then I'll add to that size. So that's my take on MYT. I don't have a large size there, but it's one that I'm watching. I just want to clean things up because I have a couple things that have just been taking a while and they're kind of just boring. So I want to clean things up when I have the chance. So that's what I'm looking to do. NAK, where's NAK? NAK right here at 32. Yeah, so this is coming down a little more. I don't want to be buying this as I don't want to keep adding to just a losing position. So I have some at 33.3. So I'm going to look to see if it can hold. If it drops a little more today, we're going to give it some more time. Usually you get some dips. You could get a dip into the noon time period. Could be a good time to buy some dips. So I'm going to wait on that one before I add. I don't have that much, but I would like to add to that one. Yes, I'm using Webull. Yeah, technically still waiting on the ADTX. Let me look at ADTX, by the way. Technically still waiting on it, but I'm not in it. But now that it's coming back down, if it comes ADTX, I'm buying it sub 2. So if it drops below 2, I'll buy it. Which actually, that gets me thinking. I may as well actually create an alert on ADTX because I might as well just get alerted when it goes below 2 because it's not on a current watch list. So let's see. Once it goes below 2, I want to get an alert. Boom, save. So I'll have that alert set, so if it does drop below 2, I'll go back in ADTX. Just technically speaking, again, same situation, looks solid. Either way, EUA or not, I still like it, right? Okay, so we actually have, so AMCI is now down. Okay, AMCI is now dropping pretty hard. With a lot of these SPAC plays, you could probably see the overall market is up right now, but the Dow is kind of coming down off of where it opened, so you kind of can see they're going to be very, very kind of reactive to the market or overreactive to the market. So the market comes down, you're going to see a lot of these things come down pretty hard. It's down 7%. You can probably grab a dip. Honestly, it wouldn't be a terrible idea for a scalp intraday dip here for AMCI. If we go to the 5-minute chart, you don't want to be, of course, you're kind of catching a knife, as they say, where you got the knife coming down, you're trying to catch it on a dip for recovery. Yes, so you're kind of catching a knife in a sense, but at the same time, these types of drops, we see it all the time. For example, yesterday, market opens, the thing comes down here to 13 from opening, at 1360, within 5-10 minutes from then, within 15 minutes from then, it's back to 1350. So you can snag those types of dips. And so it dipped down to 1263. Now it's going to probably come back up towards 13. Wouldn't be surprised in the next few minutes if it recovers there. Rotation back to FSR. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking FSR. Look at FSR on the daily chart. So, okay, now it's broken back above 16. That's really good. So I have calls. What do I have? I have 3 May calls. They were kind of expensive, so I kind of made the mistake there. But the only thing with those is that I wanted to go and give myself plenty of time. So I wanted to look out in the way future for FSR and say, hey, I think it's going to spike at some point. If not, get a more sustained move, I think. But I think it's at least going to spike. And so if FSR makes a spike in the next couple of weeks and it pops back to 20 plus, those contracts will be, 50% to potentially more I'll make on those contracts, and I'll take the profits there and I'll move on. I'm still holding shares in my long term, and I'm selling covered calls on those in the long term portfolio, which actually that gets me thinking I probably should do that today. Selling their covered call for this week. I like to sell covered calls just to make a couple extra bucks in the account. You literally pay yourself for doing so. So that's that. What else? SBE, I believe, I haven't been paying attention to SBE, but it's pulling back a lot. They don't have the mergers coming soon, right? I forget. I don't know. I haven't been following SBE too closely lately. But, we've been seeing a lot of SPACs really just having a great past couple weeks. One thing that I've also watched is LCA. I want to see how LCA is doing. So LCA looks like it's kind of, it's coming down. So LCA is another one that, we have the merger on the 18th, so the end of the week, right? but it's got a downtrend right now. So until we break that downtrend, what I'm thinking is going to happen, LCA may come down to the 20 or just sub $20, which we have some support there. Merger happens, whatever, it goes through hopefully, right? And then, we get a recovery back to the upside after that. Look at stuff like Penn, right? Look at Penn, kind of same sector, insane, right? Look at DKNG. I mean, these stocks are all, looking decent lately. So LCA should follow along suit with some of those. That's at least my take on that. Let's see. We had ANCN now. Okay, ANCN is one that it's gonna be probably a bigger play for the day. We'll see if this thing goes. SBE prediction. Let me see. Let's take a look. So I would say if we had to watch this guy, we have support down here on 25. So I know a lot of people don't want to see that happen, but if it does get ugly, it could drop down towards that level. If not, we're gonna have to break back above, some of these levels. So it looks like $40 is a resistance for right now. So we'd have to break back above 40. I like it long term. Only problem here is that I liked it long term, back in here, like back in the sub $13 level, the sub $15 level. It's up massively, so could it keep going? Yeah, but for me, I like to get the pullback. So if this thing pulls back, like we're down off these highs. This could be a good dip buy for someone looking for a longer term play, or if it does dip down towards 25, yes. But personally, we have to see $40, and then looks like 42 going to be an area, and then 45. So those are the levels at least that I'm be watching on that guy. Let me just see really quick on my phone because I pull up. At least I have at least my watch list on my phone. If I can see quickly what's moving. So everything's kind of a bunch of stuff dipping. Bitcoin's actually up a little bit today. So that's one thing to watch too. I am actually in NNDM myself. I have shares just in the long-term portfolio, just holding those shares and that's that. Just not going to worry about them. I don't have too much, but I have a good average from under 5. So I'm not really too worried. So it's pushing up a little bit. So it's kind of held. I know we got a lot of lines here on NNDM, and I know it might be tough to see on mobile or whatever, but this bottom of this uptrend right here is holding for now. So that's what we're watching. HOFV today had some news, so I have some sells already preset if it does make a pop-off news, and I thought maybe this could get it. But the thing with HOFV, if we pull up the news, here it is actually. I had it pulled up already. Partner with State Kings to bring staking concept to season-long fantasy sports league for the first time. So essentially, they're partnering up to do a buy-in fantasy sports league, which they're going to be doing next year. So it's kind of cool. Not a huge press release, to be honest with you, but any press release for a lot of these types of stocks could get a pop. So let's look at HOFV's float. I actually don't know in my head. 14 million floats. That's pretty small. So pretty low float on this stock, so this stock could pop. So that's one that I'll be watching for sure. It's also a good recovery stock, so vaccine news, positive news. This is a good stock. Let's take a look at EVFM really quick, because that's one that I'm in. Actually, I can pull it up right here. I want to see $2 hold. So here's my chart for EVFM. So we have a decent support down around $2, and then we have this downtrend. So we got to break back above 220, 225. We do that, then EVFM, technically speaking, makes the move back to the upside. So that's my take on EVFM. How do you catch these before they run? So again, I have a video going over how I find the next 100% runner. But that said, I'll kind of briefly go over what I do. So I'll go to I'll go to finviz.com and I'll use their screener. So what I'll do here is I will go to sectors first, because I say, okay, biopharma is hot right now, right? So I'll look at I'll go to healthcare. And then on top of that, I'll go to the industry inside of healthcare, and I'll go through, for example, I can go through biotech. So the biotech sector has been hot lately, right? Then I'll go to find, then you can sort by a couple other things. So I can go to float, which is the amount of shares available to trade. I'll go to float under 50 million, for example. I really ideally would like to get a lower float, but I'll start there. Now this is going to give me stocks in the healthcare sector, biotech industry, under 50 million in float. And you can sort by more things. Of course, everyone's going to kind of have what works for them. I don't want to get too crazy in what I sort by. And then what you do is when you hover over the ticker symbol, they give you a brief past couple months of the chart. So if I see a chart that looks bottomed out, where I see support levels on the bottom of the chart, it looks decent. So for example, Acer, right? I can click on Acer, and what we can see is that kind of, okay, we lost this uptrend lately, but we kind of are bottomed out here, 230 or so. We have like 215. So this is showing me right now we have some support right here. So this is a chart setup where I look to the left and I see range, and then it gets me thinking, okay, let me look into, okay, Acer chart looks decent, right? It looks like it's a bottomed out play. Let me look into like what's going on with Acer. So then I'll go and I'll start looking around like, hey, what's their last press release? Are there any hints in that last press release of them saying, hey, they got data coming here, they got news coming here, they're launching something here? If they do, then I can kind of go through that kind of thought process. And also, not only do I just get ticker ideas from here, but I'll get ideas from Twitter, from social media as well. So there's stuff like that I use. Now, when I say that, you got to be very careful on who you follow and why, because you don't just buy something because someone says something. But if someone points a chart in your direction, or they post a chart and it looks good to you, then you can go and yourself and do some more digging yourself. So that's how I see it. That's how I kind of find them best before they run. So let's see. HEPA is up. HEPA, I want to see up towards the $2. It seems like it's got resistance right here at this 195. So it's not breaking above that 195. It hit 197 yesterday. I didn't actually get filled on those shares that I had there, but I still have the order set there. So let's see what else we got going on. BXRX is starting to pull back. This could be a good dip buy. If we can grab this dip here. So we have support down around $1, just under $1 we actually could drop to. So I wouldn't want to see BXRX dropping below 97 cents, right? So this is an example where it's at 106. I will still hold this thing down towards 97 cents. I have an hour. It's at 109, just about 110. So it's at 105 right now. This could be a decent spot to be buying this dip. So with 600 shares at that average, for me, my max size is going to be $2,000 or so. Actually, $2,100 right now is my max position size for one stock. So this is something that I definitely want to be looking to add to. And I may just slowly see, like I can add in chunks, or I'll just slowly grab some shares here and there. So I'm going to put an order in just for 100 shares at 105. And then if it does dip below further, I can look at that again and buy some more. But this could be one of those stocks that, recovers 2% intraday, because, it does take a pretty decent dip down 3%, and it could easily recover back up towards 110, by the end of the day. No one blink an eye, but here's a strategy that if you have a lot of these stocks on your radar, and you don't have to even be swing trading them, you can just be day trading them. But, catching these dips, which it's not like they're massive dips, but, 3% dip intraday is a decent dip that you can certainly take advantage of. Also, I just got a notification. I'm going to go back. Let me see. I'm going to go back through some of these questions. So Tdcf is recovering nicely. I have this in the long-term portfolio. I just literally bought it, and I'm not worried about it. The crazy thing about Tdcf is I have a sub $15 average. So I literally somehow bought the bottom right here, like almost, which is nuts, without even realizing it. But I bought it and said, hey, I'm just going to hold it. That's it. So let this thing recover. I see this thing as a very potentially a massive growth stock in the future. Those FSR calls are looking nice right now. The FSR is looking solid. Let's see. What else do we have? ANPC, would you jump out now? Let's take a look at ANPC. It's coming. So we had this spike. What you're probably going to see is it's holding up right in this level, 550. Maybe it holds $5. I personally would be out if I was in. If I got some of this move, if I made money on this move, I'm out. That's how I personally do it, because with a lot of these penny stocks, to be honest with you, from the way that I see them, and you can do your own due diligence into knowing, hey, what's going on. If you trust what you've done and you believe and they got this coming, this is actually legit, like this is a company that has a shot for more, not just like a quick spike and that's it, and that's trust yourself there. But for me, I don't trust, like these companies, I don't trust them. I trade them, I don't trust them. That's it. It's quick. I don't mess around, like hold them too long. So for me, I see this thing under 550 with a dip down. So I would say cut it at 550 if you're in. And then if it does below 550, then maybe it comes down towards $5 or even $4 where you have the 50 SMA. I wouldn't be surprised if you see it down there. That's at least my take. SBE, right, was delayed. Okay, so that's, oh yeah, they had some, I don't actually know. Let's take a look. I haven't been following close enough. They have like a press release here that we can go off of and see. I'm sure that they probably have something. Releases. Any news picked up? The last thing that I'm seeing here, they were picked up by Wolf Research over Fisker. So that's what they said. Search, I mean, whatever you want to call it, whether you care about them or not. They put a price target of $50, so that's decent upside potential. But if you see if like the merger is delayed, if that's what the reason why for like stocks like that, like to be honest with you, that's a buying opportunity in my eyes. So that's how I see it. Okay, so what was I going to do? I want to look at, let's see, NEO's up. So look at this. So NEO right now is up 5%. So what I wanted to see today is if NEO gets back to those 44, 45 today, that's a really good sign. And so I wish I had gotten more on the dip. But again, my strategy here is that I bought a good chunk down in here. I have an average. I bought some under 40, then I bought some at like 41. So I have an average a little bit closer to 41 actually. But I'm still seeing 50 plus. I think this thing could break out of this downtrend and make a run. And we can see like NEO can move, $5-10 in a day like that. It can do it, So we can certainly see NEO making a push back up towards those highs, and I can see it hitting $60 before the end of the year, even potentially further. I wouldn't be surprised. So that's at least my take. It's pushing up nicely from where I had it yesterday, so I can't complain, to be honest, about that one. One thing I'm going to watch is I want to watch Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is pushing up. Look at this chart on Bitcoin, the daily chart. I mean, this is actually really nice. So we came up here a couple weeks back, right? So this 19.5, then we hit 19.9, and now we're kind of pushing up. But we are kind of looking weaker in terms of the last couple candles. They don't look as bullish. But again, we have more resistance up here. We have more sellers up at this level, so you're going to see that. I'm getting scam calls. So you're going to see that up at these levels. So, let it kind of, let's see what happens. If it kind of consolidates, comes back down, okay, it comes back down. But I'm personally waiting on like Mara and Riot. I know they're up today and stuff, but I'm personally waiting on those because I'm going to wait for the breakout over 20K. That's what I want to see. But other than that, where's my MFH? MFH is actually a decent Bitcoin play. That when Bitcoin's up, MFH likes to push up. Here it is. So it's holding this trend line very, very well. So MFH down around like 260 or so is a good spot, I think, personally, for ads and whatnot. So that's my take on that. Let me see what's going on in the comments. Today's your birthday. Awesome. Happy birthday. MCEP. Let's take a look at MCEP. We have GM, MCEP. Yeah, it's still at GM. GM. Oh, where is GM? Oops, I messed that one up. GM 41. This is pulling back. This thing looks like it's trying to hold up right around this 41 level. So I would say here's a good spot as a support level for right now based on what we're seeing. So 41-ish, 41.50 looks like a solid support for right now. I don't want to see it. It can it fall? Yes, it can fall through and then bounce, but it looks like that's where you want to be. That's where it's trying to hold up for right now. MCEP, I think I'm not a fan because it popped. Yeah, it popped a lot. So look at where it kind of popped to, and it's probably going to come down. It's up 9% today, but it's probably going to come down. I would say it has some support down around 4, then eventually like 380, 85 or so. That's my take on it. Unless we get a bigger push in a lot of oil-related stocks, this thing kind of popped. This thing popped up in pre-market or after hours. I think it popped up after hours yesterday. Then it popped pre-market. So unfortunately, if you got stuck in, or got caught in that and buying that, unfortunately, I would say it's probably going to try to come down towards this 380. That's just my take. For an oil-related play, what I am in, where is it? HUSA, HUSA. Because we take a look at the chart on HUSA. This looks like a coiled up chart. Look back to the left, has range. So if oil plays heat up, I have a decent average down around 168. I sold, actually yesterday I sold some because this pop, I had a sell order set around 193 for 100 shares and it hit my sell right away. So it kind of popped. And with oil plays, they're super volatile like that. They can go. So they can pop quick. Then for LCA, let's take a look. I think LCA may try to be coming down towards this 20-ish area. So let's see if it can kind of hold up in this level, this $20. If that can hold, here's the downtrend. So we want to see it breaking back to the upside out of this downtrend. If it does so, that's a good sign. So then I want to see LCA pushing up. But the merger's on the 18th. So you see a lot of volatility on these plays into the merger. I have LCA shares long term. It's a buy and hold for me. So that's my take on LCA personally. MDGS, actually, let me take a look at MDGS because MDGS is down 4% today. So I might have to be looking to cut this guy because MDGS is not looking ideal. So it's pulling back below the support that I had, but let's see. This 175 will probably be my area right here. I'm going to put another line in. So like 175, I wouldn't want to see that thing go below that level. If it does, then I'm probably going to have to cut that one. So MVIS, I know MVIS has been pushing up. Let's take a look at that. MVIS. Okay, MVIS today, right? So today it popped. So the question that I wanted, well, the area that I was watching was this 350. So that's a great sign for MVIS. But my area that was like, hey, like I would like to see this thing kind of pull back, ideally, was what I wanted to see. But now maybe it's going to hold some support over $3. So now 350, it broke above. So that's an awesome push for MVIS. This thing has been pushing up big time lately, which is solid. BFT. Let's take a look at this guy. It's pulling back today, but it doesn't look terrible. This could have some support here around 1350. So that's where I would say 1350 would be the support level that I'll be watching for BFT. Let's see what we have. Let's see what else. I'm in this one. I'm also in an OTC play. I'm going to check on that guy really quick because I have that in my TD Ameritrade account. So let's see. It is PSYC pulling back today, but I think that one has potential for it's a kind of a psychedelic, I guess, play. So that's my play there. NEO is right at that trend line. So I would expect it to potentially have some resistance based on what we've been seeing lately. I would expect some resistance right here on NEO. So that's what I'm going to be watching. Then also let's take a look at Tesla because NEO and Tesla like to be kind of similar. Two peas in a pod. Tesla's up, NEO's probably up unless, of course, they have underlying company news, which is, of course, NEO had the offering, so you're going to have some more volatility there. Down the offering days, but now post-offering, right? Like we said, with stocks like NEO, with these higher growth stocks, you can see, right, much more volatility. You can see, so the market's down, these stocks can come down 3%, 5%. But the market's up. You can see NEO up 6% today. Like, market's up not that much. It's up, 0.5%, but NEO's up 6%. So also post-offering recovery kind of bounce. So that's that. So let's see. What else do we have? Right now I have to see if I want to. I sold one of my Home Depot contracts. I'm just kind of waiting on the other one, letting it ride. I have some time on it. This week, if we go to the account right now, how am I doing this so far this week? Let me go to the customized numbers. So if we go here to here, down $23. So it's just like swings that have been kind of sitting. Nothing really ran yet. So I'm not looking to add. The only thing I really added to my the new position this week that I didn't talk about in Saturday's video is NEO. That's the only one that I added I added as a swing play. So that's it. Other than that, nothing new. I have a list of a lot of stuff that I want to get into, but nothing that I want to do. Okay, so my BXRX filled. Let's take a look. That was one I bought there. So let's see how this guy's doing. So it filled. It dipped down to 104 now. So this is one that I want to see hold $1. If it can hold $1, that will be good. If it can't, again, then I have to cut this thing under 97 cents. That's the level, 97 cents or nothing for me. If it drops below that level, I'm out, But a bottomed out play here. I like the risk reward where it's at. So I'll accumulate. I'm still in the process of accumulating some shares. But again, I also don't want to just buy as it's kind of dropping. I want to see it develop that support. So yeah, I would love to buy this thing and have an average sub $1 if that's where it holds. But if it holds up around 97 cents, but again, I'd also want to make sure it holds that level before I do so. So that's that. Correx, I was watching it. I'm not watching it anymore because I crossed it off my list because it's already popped. So for Correx, look at the daily chart on Correx. We held the 50 SMA. Here's your 50 SMA kind of pop and bounce. You pop from 105 to 150. For me, that's it. Like I'm out like on something like that with no news. But you look back to the left, it has a range. If it comes down towards $1 again, I start to get interested again in Correx. It has a gap to fill from like $2 to like $2.25. So you potentially could get back up to that level. It could get interesting. So that would be my take on Correx. AMCI is dipping, is still dipping, hasn't really come back. NAK also one we've been watching, but this one's kind of getting stalled up here. It's not getting stalled up, but it's also it's kind of making new lows. So you don't want to see that to a degree, but I would like to see 30 cents. If it can't hold 30 cents on NAK, then I'll probably get out. And then, so I'm only in with a 1,500 share. So it's not that bad in terms of at least my account size. I'm not in, massively, but it's one of those that we're looking to see if this holds 30 cents. And if it can, we have range. So Hyliion under 16 now. Hyliion is one that I got out. Oh, see, it's just kind of pulling back. And this thing, we've been seeing negative press, to be honest. I've been seeing some, not negative stuff, but like on YouTube, on social media. They just kind of haven't been able to kind of deliver on, I wouldn't say deliver, but like they haven't been able to kind of live up to what people potentially expected. So they're not living up to the investor and trader expectations right now. So people are not happy. So people are getting out. I personally got out under 17. So it was a long-term play, and I got out because I saw value elsewhere. I just figured that I can go into and invest into DRIV, the ETF I talked about the other day. I just figured I'd put my money there instead. And it's, I'd rather get exposure to Tesla, to Apple, to Google, to those solid companies. I'd rather get exposure there rather than putting, all that money into just one company where, at the end of the day, it's riskier to do. Yeah. Could Hyliion reverse? Could they come out with the news all of a sudden and like everything changes? Yes. But that's just my take. Huge new spec play, THBR. Let's take a look at THBR. I mean, this thing looks like, a lot of these SPAC plays are, as close to 10 as possible. I mean, that's solid. With SPAC, also we had, I think it was Goldman Sachs, I believe, that was Goldman Sachs was saying that they wanted to, or they're expecting the SPAC SPAC fest to continue in the next few months. UONE is one that, I'm going to get out of, because look at this. So here's an example, right? We're not holding this trend anymore. So here's, now could UONE have news tomorrow? Yes, they could. But you know what? To clean my positions up, I just don't need to be in this thing anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of this guy because it's no longer holding the trend. It's now another day below. So I'm going to sell my 150 shares. And I've been in this one for a while. I could have made, 50-cent profit on it a couple times, but I was looking for more and I just never got it. So that said, I am going to sell this guy $4.91. Let's see if that will fill. Hopefully it does. Well, it's not going to fill. So that's one I'm going to get out just to clean up my positions, because there's other stuff that I see more, potential in, honestly. So I don't want to do that. I want to just get this guy. Let's set it to like 490 and just get out of that one. Partially filled, so it'll probably fill. Give it some time. Okay, that's that. What else do we have? Want to watch? BX. It's kind of it's an interesting day. The market's up, but a bunch of stuff that I'm watching is down. So SONN is one that I also would be looking to add to as well. SONN has been nice. I mean, it's sitting right here. Look at this. Look at this play. Very oversold play. Sitting at the 50 SMA. We'd like to see a 50 SMA bounce. Maybe we get it. Maybe we don't. But I like that one. I like that one for sure going forward. So let's see. CRBP is on my list still. So I may be looking actually at that one once we get out of UONE. Okay, this actually looks decent because CRBP, now we're down 3 to 4% today, right? So we have support here, 125-ish. We have some room down. Like this thing could come down towards $1. It could certainly do so. But that said, I kind of like buying these things on the red days. So I, would start to watch this one. This is definitely like top on my list because based on what I have looked at, CRBP has like a 15%, or at least for my UONE sold. So I'm out of that one. So my CRBP has a pretty decent risk reward. So from what my initial calculation, which was potentially from a different price point, it has about 15% downside risk from what I'd be willing to hold, with about 50+% upside potential. So that's a solid risk reward in my eyes. So let's see. Let me get rid of this off my watch list. Let me get rid of UONE off the watch list because we don't need to hold something as it's cracking the trend right now. UONE will probably have news tomorrow, and I'll be like looking at it like I had that yesterday. It is what it is. You kind of have to, at some point though, you can't just keep not blindly hold, but you can't keep holding stuff. You got to be able to cut stuff, because if you don't cut stuff, you're setting up bad habits that will screw you in the future. Now, in this market, it's pretty hot, so that's something that I probably could hold. But in different market conditions, like if we're back in like August, September, that thing is going to keep falling down, and you don't want to mess with that stuff. Let's see, NVCN. NVCN actually looks decent to me, so it's down a little bit today. So it's bottomed out. I have it on my list as well. It has a lot of upside. So it has a gap here from this like 77 cents to like back up to like 85, and then it's got this kind of this range right here. But it had two offerings, I think. Here they just had an offering right here. I believe they had an offering here as well for that drop. So they have a lot of this stock has some range to the upside. I'm watching it. Around 70 cents is a solid entry in my opinion, with not wanting to see this thing dropping below 68 or so, making new lows. Wouldn't want to see that. So that's my take on that guy. Let's see what else. Is FSR, how is FSR? FSR is back below 16 again, but it did kind of tease back above that level, which is nice to see. MYT, like just as we were saying, MYT, right, we were dipping down into like the 160s, but look at this, right? So you look at MYT, and maybe it was just because we got someone posted on Twitter, who knows, right? It maybe that's what happened. I'm not, following. But if you see something like that where it's like at the trend line and it's popping back up, look at it. It popped back up, now it's up. It was down on the day, now it's up. So, there's scalp opportunities for a lot of these things too. HEPA, let's take a look. Where's HEPA at? HEPA is actually red by like 1% today. So HEPA is not, I'm not hugely worried about HEPA. I think what's happening is we're seeing a grind up. It's slowly putting in higher lows, so it's fine. I would like to see HEPA now holding above that 175. But for me, right, I had an average at 156. I was looking to add more lower, so I wanted to get a dip further down. Didn't happen. That's where I was going to add more to my position, actually like double it, if not triple it. And it didn't happen, so that's fine. Let it go, and now I'm just kind of riding it up. So let it ride. I have my first sell by just before $2, and that's what I'm doing with HEPA right now. So that's at least that take. What else? AMCI, I would like to see it holding up here in the 1250. Wouldn't want to see it drop too much below that level. That's actually my average too. I sold some shares up in the 14s though, so I'm probably going to be fine on this trade no matter what. Tilray, I'm watching. I have Tilray call. I have one Tilray call, but Tilray is down a little bit today too, so it's kind of cracking the trend. Although it's cracking the trend, I'm not super concerned about that. I want to kind of see if we can get rid of this. Let's see it kind of hold up and put in a higher low. So we have a 675 or so, or 670 is our prior low from back in here. I want to see it kind of holding up higher than that and making a recovery to the upside. But that said, we should look at CGC, because that's canopy growth. So this is kind of like what we want to watch for the overall cannabis sector. CGC is holding up here at 25. So that's a good sign. It's holding up at that support line of 25. If it starts recovering, I would anticipate Tilray to recover as well. SBE, everyone's asking about SBE, so we can talk about it. It's just going for a nosedive right now. I mean, I am personally not in SBE. I haven't been following along with the latest news super close, so I don't necessarily know. I think people said that they had the merger delayed, so if that's the case, then, that's the case. But I think that's a dip buy opportunity, personally. PLTR is at the trend, so this is going to have to either hold up here at that 25, upper 25 level, or if it doesn't, it's going to probably come down. It's showing weakness for right now. So, that's at least my take on it for right now. Let's see what happens. If it can kind of hold up here, great, and make a bounce off this trend line and bounce back to the upside, great. If not, it may be, looking for a bigger pullback, potentially down towards like $21. That's what I'm looking at for these lows. So that's what I'd be thinking, at least. That's at least my take on that guy. Let's see what else. ALT is putting in higher lows. Let's look at the daily chart. Trying to put in higher lows. So it's not something. I would see right here, this 11. Where these two moving averages, the simple moving averages, right? The 50 SMA and 200 SMA at 1150. That's your support right now. Don't want to see it below that level. So that's my like floor, I guess, for right now, for at least ALT. Okay. What else? Middo is one that I'm also watching. I have an average below where it's at. So for this one, I would not be looking to add until it drops below the average. EVFM, let's see it hold too. Again, I don't want to keep adding too much until we got to see this thing hold up to about $2 support, which it's for now, it's fine. BXRX, we bought at 105 today, so at least those shares did, are up. So, it's slightly lower than my average, but I'm going to be accumulating. This one has room down towards like 97 cents, so would like to see it kind of hold. We have, decent support in terms of our bids, I guess, down around $1, so I wouldn't want to see it drop below $1, although it could, and that's what I'll be looking to see if I can add. Let's see what else we have. So we are at a UONE for right now. What's the other one that I want to potentially get out of? It's AMCI. I would like to just kind of get this one over with. Like, it's like kind of a pain. I was in it for a short-term trade. It popped near 15. Actually, did it hit 15? 1465 was the high. Now we have a downtrend developing, so that's what we want to be watching. I can adjust this really quick so that it lines up with those highs better. There it is. So that's our downtrend. We got to break the downtrend. If it can, great. If not, then it could be a dip buy down around 1250. It looks like. STSA. Let's take a peek at STSA. Uptrending nicely, so it's putting in a nice uptrend. It's okay. This thing has some range, so this thing has quite some range. So it's putting an uptrend. $5 is going to be an area right now. We got to break it back above. We got to break above and hold over $5. If we can do so, that's a good sign. Overall, I will say that the market in general has been kind of just slow. Let's see, the overall market's dropping right now. SPY is pulling back. Market's been kind of slow lately, which is interesting. I guess we're potentially just waiting on the stimulus news. I mean, we're really just kind of, it's like, what's going to happen? Are we going to get stimulus? Are we not going to get it? Are we going to get it? Are we not going to get it? It's like, what's happening is like we keep getting these pops. It seems like lately too, pre-market we're up, and then we just kind of slowly sell off throughout the rest of the day. So it's the same things happening again. We were up decently, and now we're just like slowly selling off. Yesterday, right, popped the beginning, open with, we gapped up, we popped up, and then just sell off. So it just seems like that's the same trend that we're going to see. But it looks like this 365 is our support for right now on SPY, roughly. So SPY holding above that level is decent, as a decent sign for at least for right now. So if you guys wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up button, I appreciate you guys so much for joining in. We also go live on Sunday nights, which are a lot of fun because we get a lot of ideas for the upcoming week. So if you guys are not subscribed, do so and join us for those Sunday night streams. I'm just kind of waiting here before I buy something. So MDGS, okay, this thing had a perfect opportunity for like a nosedive dip. So you could have grabbed some. This thing, I wasn't paying attention, but it dipped down towards this 175, which is what I want to see hold. So now it dipped down there. But again, when you see that either as a stop loss hunt or you get it kind of a crazy quick wick down, doesn't necessarily mean that it's over. So now, okay, let's hold that 173-ish area. If we can, good. If not, then get out. That's at least my plan on MDGS. We had news yesterday too. One thing to note on this one, we had news yesterday, but it popped to this 214 and it got rejected at 214 and came right back down. So unfortunately, that's a kind of a shame. But it was kind of a bottom. I was kind of grabbing a bottom play here, looking for just kind of grabbing something off the support, looking for a low risk, high reward potential play. For a spike, for a news pop, and we just didn't get it. So maybe it's going to be a tired play that looks like it wants to come back down. So we'll see. It's fine. It's recovered a little bit off of the dip. So that's one of those things too where if you're watching, there's totally opportunities for a lot of these dips. If you have a bunch of these stocks on your list, you don't even have to be like swinging them. You could just have them on your list. Pick 10, 20 stocks. Set alerts for, volatility. Like, for example, if I go into Webull right now, right, and I click create alert, and I do, like, percent change moving down, like, 5% or something like that, if I did that, then what it'll notify me is on a certain stock. I can set it for all my stocks. It'll notify me if a stock dips 5%, right? And if it does, then that's an opportunity to scalp for a dip buy. So, for example, MDGS, for somebody who saw this, I'm not going to actually set that alert, but someone who saw this thing, you could have grabbed this thing like intraday, right, today. 173 was the dip. It dips to 173 really quick, and now it recovered back to 180. Now that's you think, okay, that's not that much, but if you are scalping with a little bit heavier size, that's a pretty nice 1 to 2%. And we'll see how it recovers if it does recover back. But that's a pretty nice 1 to 2%, pop or a little quick scalp trade that you can take, and those are there all the time. It just kind of is, are you willing to take that dip and buy the red, which a lot of people are scared to do. So let's see what else is dipping down. MDGS, yep, that's our one watching to see if it holds up in that 175-ish area. I don't have any updates on the SBE merger. I know that there's potentially a delay or something going on, so I don't know. I have not been following it personally. What we could look and see. Let me just go on Twitter and look it up, because why not? Let's look up SBE. You want to put the ticker symbol in front of that guy, by the way. Just that helps kind of make it easier for you. Let's look at the latest. I know it's not the best because you can have random people who are putting stuff here. Let's see if I can find anything on it briefly. But it is dipping a lot, so those of you who want to be buying this dip, I think it's probably a decent dip buy, personally. But I think it has a delay. Let's see. Other than that, though, if I can't find it quickly, I'll move back. Merger delay, look at SEC filings. Okay, so that's probably what it is. Let's take a look. So I use BAM SEC for looking at SEC filings. So if you're looking at details of business combination, so this is what it says on the 4th. Or anything other up to date than that? Let's see. Let's see. These are kind of a pain to read through too. So those of you who don't know what this is, it's honestly, if you don't need to know it initially, but it's something you want to start looking at. Ideally, as you get more experience, filings are pretty important to look through, especially on companies that you don't know much about. These are a great source to. So I think that they pulled the meeting. So if they had a date, it's no longer there. So I don't know. So we'll see. That's all I have. Oh, we have a free stock. We want to open a free stock. We should do that. Also, NEO is pushing up. S4 has a new merge date, the 15th. Okay, so they have the 15th then. So they got a month till the merger. So I think it's a dip buy. So look at NEO really quick, because look, I was saying, hey, I want to see it breaking back above this downtrend. Now it's trying to peek its head above. So this is a good sign, pretty good sign right now for NEO. It's up there though. It's getting close. It's close. No cigar just yet. Let me actually adjust this line to those highs, and then I can probably pull it down actually a little bit from where it was, because this is now looking at the 4 hour. So I can I want to make sure we hit a couple points on this line. So I'm looking to add to my NEO shares on ideally a break above this downtrend and then a pullback. So it's pretty much doing it right now. If we look at that, it's pretty much breaking out above this trend. So what I want to see is NEO pushing maybe to 45, then maybe it pulls back to the lower, 43-ish, 42. Then it kind of confirms that breakout or that kind of new trend reversal, and then that's good. Yeah, the merger date is so it can change. So there isn't really an official date on SBA, I guess then. At least not guaranteed yet. So that's what we're watching. I am not in it. It made a massive run personally for me. When you make those when you see something that makes a massive run like that, for example, LCA, I just bought shares because I like it long term. But LCA, right? This thing I had bought in shares sub $12. It goes to 25. If I'm in options or if I'm trading it short term, if my anticipation is I don't care about this company long term, I want to just take advantage of the short term push, I'm out. This thing hits $25, and it starts to show weakness, I'm out. And then let the merger happen. We get close to the merger, let the merger happen. Let's get some volatility. Then if you want to, you can scalp it, of course, because you're going to see days where it's down big, market's up, stocks go, these things go down big. Then you can scalp it intraday if you wanted to, or wait for the post-merger. See if you get a dip. Many times you got to sell the news event where it sells off post-merger, and then look to buy some there. FSR is a perfect example of that exact thing. Look at FSR. We had the date set, right? So the date gets set, we get these little pops, and then just immediately a sell-off, a hard sell-off into the merger, which then happens, I believe, I forget when the actual date was. sell off, sell off, sell off, and then recovery. Right after that, it dips down and just boom, pops up, and it made this massive recovery from 880 to like, it popped up over $23. Massive recovery. My average is 1183. Awesome. That's awesome for Neo. I don't have a, I mean, I was watching it for so long, and I was like looking at it at 25, and I was like, well, let's see if we get a further pullback, and then it broke out further, and we kept getting those updates on the new shipments and everything, and it just kept ripping to the upside. So like Neo is like, not that it kind of has been messing with me, but I bought it long term. I'm not worried about it. I think this is going to be $100 plus next year, in 2021 easily, but you know, that's my take on it for right now. So it's pushing up. I'm not gonna probably add to it. I don't want to add to it on a green day. For those who like know at least how I like to do so, I like to be more of a support buyer. So I was buying Neo yesterday as I was looking. Like, look at the chart. We had some support here around 40 upper 30s. So support buying was my take, and then now it's pushing up. So okay, yeah, I wanted to get more. I would love to get more Neo into the end of the year, because I think we'll get a pretty nice run, 25% maybe into the end of the year. But you know, I'm not going to buy it up here. Let's see if we get a pullback, and then I'll be buying it as we establish maybe some new support. That's at least my thoughts on it. Let's see what else we have. I'm trying to just look on my phone what else is going on. It's honestly kind of boring day. I'm waiting. Like, the thing that sucks is that I have Home Depot, so I sold another. I'm slowly scaling out. Those things are popping in the morning. I don't have a great average on my contracts, but it's like reversing, so it's nice. I'm holding one contract now, so it's doing well. The problem is that the market has not had a follow through. Like, we have not had a follow through day like lately, where it's like we pop up, we open up, and then just sell off throughout the rest of the day. I want to see a nice full follow through where we finish green, we finish strong into the close, and then that'll probably help a stock like Home Depot, which is sitting at a support level right now. I ideally should have been buying my contracts lower than I did. I bought them on a green day, which was mistake number one. Not that it was a mistake. I was able to sell them, 2 of them out of my 3 for a profit so far, and now I'm letting the last one ride. I personally don't think I bought the right contracts. I bought 280s, January 15th calls. So yeah, could Home Depot get back up towards that level? Yes, but it needs to kind of get there like sooner rather than later for those calls to really kind of print, as I say. So maybe it does, but I'm going to leave one to ride as I kind of have already scaled some profit out, and small profit, nothing crazy. And then now if this contract goes to $5, then I make, $200 on it, whatever. And that's that. Forward jump on EV. Maybe it does. I mean, all these, let's take a look at Ford stock, the EV Mustang. I love the Mustang personally. It's one of those cars I just, one of my favorites from from ever since I can remember. The problem is that Ford's, it's up into this level that it was kind of trading at prior to the pandemic. So it's got to break back above 10. So personally, I would not be buying Ford here, just because it's so, based on where it's at right now, it's just like it's at a resistance level. We have clearly these wicks to the upside. If we zoom in, these wicks at 950, it does not want to break above 950 for whatever reason. So until it does so, I'm not gonna mess with it. I want to let that kind of do its thing. That's at least my take on it. HEPA is pushing a little bit back up. Off the dip this morning, HEPA's up a little bit. Okay. Let's see what else. PDSB is another one. Dipped to 203. I got an alert for that because I have an alert set for when that thing dips too much. But look at this chart. So we're sitting here like just shy of $2, just under $2 has support. But I'm looking to wait to add to this guy until it does dip further down below that level. If it dips, down towards like $2, 190, that's something that I'll be looking to buy, down for PDSB personally. Other than that, it's just really kind of a quiet day. Markets is kind of choppy. It's up and down. We're waiting on stimulus news. Everyone just wants like either something to happen or, everyone wants something to go down. Oh yeah. I was going to open a free stock. So let's do that because I have, let's see. Do I have more than one? I have 6 free stocks to claim here today. So we're going to do this live because that's what we're going to do. So you guys know what happens is when you guys sign up to Webull through my link, I get a free stock. And you guys get 4 right now. So if you're someone who doesn't have, that's the platform I use, by the way, for those who are interested. So like I'm going to claim these stocks right now. Let me go back to that page. I just had it. Okay, let's see. Look at that. LGND, $99.67. Let's see. Boom. Look at that. So you guys say, like, the thing with this is that what happens is, like, you get a stock valued from X to X. So it's like $8 to $1,600 in value. That's what happens when you claim these, or when you get these free stocks. $200 stocks is like that. They do this. Well, look at this. Can we go 6? No, now we got a $32 stock. Let's see if we can do, okay, another $32 stock, AVT. AVT is one that I get a lot of. Okay, so we got 3 $100 stocks and then 3 $32 stocks. So look at that. Awesome. That is awesome. So the Webull is legit. Like, you get they give you like legitimate stocks. That's awesome. So NAK down to 31. Yeah, it's I want to see it hold 30 now. So that's my thing, is let's see it hold 30 cents. Can't hold 30 cents. I'll probably cut what I have. I have a small size, so if it can hold 30 cents and hold that support, then I'll add maybe tomorrow or maybe this afternoon to that, at least that position. But that's my take on it. So it's kind of, unfortunately, it's kind of a bottom feeder play, which is not great. It's kind of a riskier play than let's say like I don't know, BXRX, for example, which you kind of have a solid support that's developed. We're not trickling down further. I mean, we could. BXRX could certainly drop down below 97 cents and then I'm out. Generally, that's what I would do. But for NAK, it's kind of like it's developing a bottom. So it's trying to find a bottom. Maybe it does so at 30 cents. So I went in smaller, and then I'll look to add if we can. That's that. Christmas came early. It did. So now the thing is though too, so what I'm doing in the account, this is how I recommend anyone who's growing a small account or whatever, is you always add to the account. So let's say you have $1,000 that you can put into an account today. Or let's say like that's what you're willing to put into it. Instead of putting $1,000 in today, say I'm going to put in $200 today. And then next month or next week, however you want to do it, I'm going to add $200 or I'm going to add $100. And so you know that for the next 6 months, you always are going to have deposits coming in. So the account should grow unless you're like going rogue and it's like getting crushed. So the account should grow, but at the same time, you always have a fallback. So this way, like mentally, if you are going through kind of like a losing streak, you know you don't have to look at your account going down all the time. The number in the account at least goes up. So this way, while you're trying to figure out what's going on, why you're losing, how to correct your mistakes, at least you kind of can go through that process. Like that's at least how I recommend it. So I do it now in this account. So it's essentially getting compounded as well by the profits that I make and then the free stock. So that's how I do it. So the goal is to hit $100,000 in the account by September of 2021. So let's see what we're at right now. It's actually down this week because all my swings are down. So 21.3 is where we're at right now. So the goal is to hit 100,000 in the account, and we still got plenty of time for that. So, we'll see how things go. Generally, just December, January, February, even March are pretty hot months for the stocks, penny stocks that I generally like to trade. So that's that. Let's look at BME because BIMI is honestly not in a bad spot. I would say I wouldn't want to hold this thing down if it drops below like 165. I'd cut it there. Honestly, you could accumulate this stock down to 150 if you really wanted to. Again, 34-cent downside risk look at these spikes. I mean, you're talking about spikes, this thing can easily pop to like $2.50, $3 like that. It could go further. This thing has potential to 440, could certainly see it. So let's see. Let's see what else. ADTX slowly going down to the buy zone. Look at that. They had news yesterday too, but it wasn't the news we're watching. So yeah, so it's down to 210. This could be great. This could be one of those stocks that I just, could be my next biggest stock, honestly. Like, I think it's Mara, MARA is the one that I've made the most money on, personally. But ADTX could be the next one where it's like, hey, like if ADTX comes back to that buy range and then runs off of emergency use authorization news, ADTX could be a monster, right? But look at the range. The reason why I like it so much, look at the range on the chart. I mean, it has a range to $10. So not that it's going to go to $10, but if it gets, we have history of this thing going to like, over 3. So that's that. Plug position. Let's take a look at plug. Plug is pushing up. Plug is going to potentially make a shot at 30. I like it. Honestly, I like it a lot because what we kind of have is you have multiple resistance points up in the upper 20s. And now you kind of have a U-shape kind of come back down, show some support, make a U-shape kind of recovery back on up. So plug looks pretty good. Over 30 could be a breakout zone, so for plug. So that's what I'd be watching. And plug is a funny stock because if you guys, I think I've said it before too, once or twice, but plug was one of the stocks that I got for free on Robinhood when it was like $3. I actually sold it at like 12, unfortunately. But if I had still held it, it would be at $30 right now, which is nuts for a free, Robinhood stock. So sometimes, it's not always like what I always do with all the free stocks I get is I sell them right away. Sometimes, it's not always the best move. Let's see. Oh yeah, SNDL was one that we've been watching. Let's take a look at SNDL. So SNDL right now, what we're seeing is actually, I think it's looking good. So we have this this downtrend right here. Let's look at the 4-hour chart to get a better view. So a rough downtrend line that I put in. I can probably adjust this a little bit too. So here's our downtrend. Broke out of the downtrend, also holding up 45-cent support. So it's sitting here just shy of 50. Looks decent. So SNDL right here, I think is okay. Wouldn't want to see it drop below 45. This has range. They got the 180-day extension by NASDAQ to essentially comply with the minimum bid requirement, which they need to get their minimum bid. They have to get to over $1 for like 10 consecutive days, which is a standard thing that happens with a lot of stocks. So they have a couple ways to do it. Either they drop news, or the stock runs up and gets over $1, or they can do a reverse stock split. So that's the idea. What I'm going to do right now, though, because I'm watching in Tilray. So look at Tilray. So I have these Tilray calls. Now, there's a decent spread. So these are June calls. Like, not even kidding. These are June calls. So let's look at Tilray. And I'm probably going to buy my second add into my Tilray calls because we're holding up. Oh, we had the 50 SMA bounce. This is actually a really bullish sign. So Tilray right now has the 50 SMA about to cross the 200 SMA. Very strong support here in the low 7s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another contract. So I have the $8 June of next year. So it's like so far out of the money. Like it's so far. So far in terms of time. $8 could be in the money like today if it pops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see if I can grab those. Let me find those June contracts. I'm going to buy that by one more. I only have one, so I'm slowly scaling in. But we have two, so the decent spread. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to see if I can get filled at like 230. I think I have my first one was at 260, so I'm going to buy one more here at 230, and let's see if I can get filled. If I get filled, awesome. If not, I'll have to adjust that later today. But I'm looking to see if I get filled there at 230, which would be good. We don't have, open interest at 1,000, so it's decent. It's better than, seeing like 50 or 80, open interest. So I'm fine with that. $8, I think $8 is going to be in the money nicely eventually for Tilray. So Tilray is looking decent. I'm going to be watching that one for sure. It just popped up on my radar because I was watching and it popped up on my phone on my watch list as it was like almost like spiking up. So I just kind of got the idea again. So we're doing that. I'm looking. I like a lot of these cannabis related plays into next year. So we'll see what happens into next year, but I'm watching. So SNDL will be one of those that if all of a sudden weed plays start running hard, SNDL is something that I'll grab for a quick overnight swing or for a quick short-term day trade for, you can grab 20% pretty easily and then maybe scale out of some shares and then ride up a smaller portion for potentially a bigger move. I don't know if they're going to do the reverse stock split. That's the thing for SNDL. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, and then they try to get the stock price up either by news, pumping it up, or the overall sector runs, and they just let the stock split. Okay, so I got Tilray just filled at 230. So let me look at my average on those, actually. I have two contracts at an average of 245. I think that's fine. So what does that mean? So for those of you who are not familiar with options, so I have a $2.45 average on just those $8 calls. Now, the reason why I'm not going to be going in huge on these is because if I'm looking at Tilray, for example, right, it's sitting here, the $8 calls for June of next year. Plenty of time. I believe this stock will be over $10 at least by then. All Tilray has to do is go to like $10 and 45 cents technically for me to have $2.45 of intrinsic value on the contract. But if that happens before June, then I'll be up bigger on the contracts because, of course, there's still time on the contract. And, of course, there's a volatility factor and there's other factors at play here that could send Tilray further. So I'm anticipating Tilray going back to $10 plus. I would think that could actually happen in the next couple weeks, months. But if it happens, if it doesn't take that long, or if I'm no longer liking it, the reason why I bought those contracts so far out is because they'll hold value better because of the time factor. Because there's so much time on the contract, they should hold their value better. So for example, right, I actually started buying it when Tilray was over $8. Tilray falling back down towards $7, I only lost like 20, 30 cents on the contract from when I initially bought it. So that's why I have those, and that's why I paid for the little more expensive, or I paid for the ones that are a little further out. So I like those. Let's take a look at ZOM. This thing has actually been making some decent recoveries based on where it was. I'm not a huge fan though. So that's that. Let's see. So do you buy before the breakout? For most of my trades, I like to buy support. And so for like a lot of my like swing trades that I'm in, like for example, let's look at like BXRX. This is what no one liked like this stock. You look at this stock and no one with like in their right mind, right, on average is probably gonna look at this chart and say, I like that stock. But I do. So I look at the stock, I see it's at support. Super, like it's so easy for me to see the risk reward here. It's so easy for me to like mentally say, hey, 10 cents to the downside. It's at 107 right now. I see a 97-cent low. This thing drops below 97 cents. I'm out. I am out, right? I'm not going to hold this thing below 97 cents. I don't want to hold this thing down to new lows because it could certainly go further down. So that's where I like to see that. So that's why I like that guy. And so many times you look there, I'll look at the chart. I find the chart first, and then I look into catalysts. So ideally, I like to play stuff with that has catalysts. And so what does that mean? So like, for example, they have, let's say they have data coming up in like a week or two, or they're expected to release, their phase 1 data on like, in January, right? They could say that in a press release. You go back to their press releases and they may even say that. So if that's the case, then, if that's what happens, then these things can get a run up into that data, or the data comes out, there's your news. Now, of course, you run the risk of, is the data bad? Yes, the stock could go down. But if you're playing a stock that's already sitting right here, then you can, you're not going to have as much downside risk, in my opinion, with bad data. Whereas if the stock was up around $2 back before this gap down, right, then you have certainly more risk, right? Of course, it could go further, but, that's my take on it. Like NVCN is an example. I don't actually know the specifics about the offering, but we can look at it. So, for example, NVCN was already oversold, right? It was sitting at like 85 cents. Then they had an offering. So it goes from 85 cents to 68, and then it bounces to like 77, 75 or so. It didn't drop that much. Like, it didn't realistically drop like that much down. You could have held it if you were in it and then just added more shares here, just so you can kind of make it out of that trade without taking a big L. So that's how I generally do it. Moderna, hold or sell. Let's take a look at Moderna. mRNA. What did it do? So it's up there. I'm personally, but the thing is, same thing with PFE. What happened with the vaccine here is I think this move right here is your price in. So the move that we had from early November through now, the last month, is pricing in the vaccine. So I am personally not a huge fan of it right now. Let it pull back. If we get a further sell the news event, then yes. Like, look at PFE, for example, Pfizer. Look at this. This is getting crushed. Like, yesterday, the market was down, right? But it got crushed from where it was. But it had the move, right? You had the move from 36 to 43 pre-announcement of the emergency use authorization. That was your opportunity on this guy, for example. That was your opportunity to take your move. So personally, I wouldn't be touching Moderna right now. Let it settle. Like, for example, Pfizer, I think for sure is a $50 plus stock at some point in the future, but let it settle down and then you can look to buy it. I think that's how I would do it, at least. PLG could be a long-term hold. Let's take a look at that. This is one that, I don't like buying it up here. I think it was on my radar down here. I didn't take it, but it was on my radar down here and it ran nicely. So it's at $5 now. So let's see if it holds up around 5. That would be the key. That's the key, I think, area to hold first. Generally, $5 is a very strong natural support or resistance level in penny stocks. So you're below it or whatever. So that's that. Let's see. Okay, JAG-X we can look at. I think I've seen some people talk about that one. So, okay, so it's up too much today for me to touch it. It's up too much. Let's see. What else would I like? Let's take. I was looking. Pixie was on my radar as well. Let's take a look at Shift Pixie. Okay, this is a 50 SMA bounce play potentially. So $2 support. So you're sitting at 250. So okay. I don't have it on my list yet, but I was a new one that I might be adding to the list here. So it's $2 support. It's uptrending, putting in higher lows. 225 is our recent higher low, and then boom, it's sitting right here. I would say it could make a bounce. Food is ready. It is. Oh, I am on a Webull, by the way. So that's what I am using. I am using Webull, and I literally opened six free stocks. If you guys missed it, I opened 6 free stocks like not that long ago, like 10 minutes ago, and like they were $300 stocks or $99 stocks and $330 stocks. So that was that was what we saw. If you guys got to see that. Let's see. ENTX. Let's see what we got. I'm probably going to wrap things up because I have to eat, because I know you guys hear the food is right here, stuff going on. ENTX, look at this. This is actually on my list again, or it was. I crossed it off, but now it's back. It's back to that $1. So look at ENTX. It spiked. Okay, but it's right back. So, okay, some play here. You buy it at 105. You add down towards 1. It drops below 1. You're out. You risk 5 cents. You risk 6 cents. Okay, that's it. Has some support here in the low ones, so I would anticipate this one holding up. BCRX is one that I think has been pushing up. So yeah, I mean, it could keep going. I'm gonna pull. I don't play it. I know people who like it. I've seen people who on social media who like it, who think it can go a lot further. Personally, yes, sure, but I'm not gonna mess with it. It's just, for me, it's up too much lately. I don't like that. Let it come down. Let me see a better support line, and that's that. LCA is unfortunately just trying to hold 20 now. So I want to see it hold 20. If not, it can come down towards like 1850. That's the support level right there. There's just going to be volatility into the merger. That's unfortunately. I think what I would do if you're someone who's not an LCA right now, or you have money to add to LCA, if you have your shares, wait for the merger, see if it settles, and then look to be buying it in this $18 range. Under 20 would be a really good buy. Also, here's the down. If we break out of this downtrend, that can make a reversal to the upside. So, Webull they don't support fractional shares yet. I would hope that could change. So that's my thing with Webull. I think that they are like, they added crypto trading. They're improving their platform a lot. So they're really trying to compete. The thing with the free stocks though too is that's not going to be around forever, because they're going to get to a point where like, hey, if we're looking to upgrade our platform for people to actually use and like it, enjoy it, which I like it right now, and they want to keep making strides to make it even better, then you kind of have to, you got to save some money somewhere. So you can't keep giving away $100 free stocks, right? Unfortunately. So, okay. Other than that, though, market is still green, not hugely green, but it's green. I did make a few little trades here. Other than that, it's a pretty slow day. It's just pretty slow. So there's not too much to be going on, and not too much going on right now, at least overall. Other than that, though, let's see. HUSA is sitting here. I would like to see it come down a little bit more for me to buy, like down under my average. I want to buy some more of that. Other than that, though, I'm probably gonna wrap things up. I'm gonna have a video going over growing a small account or growing an account today, so that should come out later this afternoon. Other than that, I appreciate you guys for joining in. We do go live every single Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you aren't subscribed, if you're new, definitely hang out for those. Subscribe to the channel, hit those notifications, and don't forget to grab your 4 free stocks with Webull, link down below. If you guys saw those free stocks I opened, that's what you do. You get to open those stocks. When you sign up, you get 2 stocks. I think they're like super cheap, and then when you deposit $100, you get 2 more stocks once that money settles. And those are the ones that are like $800 to like $1,600 in value. So appreciate your stock. I think MCEP is going to probably come down personally. How can I get free stocks? There should be a link in the description box to sign up to Webull and get those stocks. It'll explain how to do so. You sign up, you go through, you create your account, then you get open 2 small stocks, and then when you deposit $100, once that money's settled, 2 more larger free stocks. So appreciate you guys for joining. This should stay up here. I will have a video out later. If you like these lives, make sure to let me know. I'll try to do more of these intraday while things are going on. Unfortunately, today's a pretty slow day, so not too much is going on, but every day is going to be different, so I'll definitely be doing more of these. Thanks, guys, for joining in, and I will see you guys in a future video. Thanks.